Hello everyone, welcome to today's superb episode where we will be talking about some monsters. Yeah, that's right. We will be taking a close look at some of the most disgusting video monsters of all time. Stay tuned for the show, you do not want to miss out on any part. Antagonists in video games have progressed far beyond a few simple pixels representing a bad guy on screen. Over the last few decades, some creative minds have conjured up a slew of horrors and placed them in video games for players to confront. The outcomes have been nothing short of frightening. Some of the best monsters in video games are those that elicit genuine fear and dread. It's just a game, but that's no consolation to players who are prone to hiding under the covers during a scary horror movie. Interacting with such creatures is a completely different story. 10. The Nylanth, Half-Life 1998. Half-Life warps what is meant to be precious, a baby, into this monstrosity. The Nylanth is the final boss of the game and the leader of the invading Zen. There was a driving force within all of us to bring this villain down, but it wasn't easy to look at. Its enormous, engorged head, the extra limb protruding from its chest, its black eyes, and its long tendril-like arms all add up to one terrifying boss, not to mention its severed legs, which cause it to float ominously instead of walking around. It disgusted us in 1998, and it disgusted us even more in the 2012 remake, Black Mesa. 9. Infested Corpse, Dark Souls 3 2016. With a name like that, you know this foe will make your skin crawl. Infested corpses resemble the regular reanimated corpse enemies in appearance, except for the swarms of maggots that have burst from their chests and are writhing around in a vaguely human shape. Ugh. They can be found in the graveyard near the Cathedral of the Deep and later in Irithel Dungeon. As if fighting them in broad daylight wasn't bad enough. The sound design is flawless, and we flinch every time one of them lunges at us. They are the epitome of what makes us scream, "Kill it with fire." 8. The Master, Fallout 1997. In Fallout, a game filled with mutants, you come across some distinctly repulsive characters. None, however, is more repulsive than the Master, the leader of the mutants. The Master intends to turn everyone into a mutant in order to bring everyone into his organization, the Unity. But no perk could be worth this outcome. The Master has not only been mutated almost completely beyond human form, but this stretched out skin has also been fused with the computer. His various meat tendrils and one protruding eyeball making him extremely difficult to look at. We'll just stick to the dialogue options, please. 7. Mera Shin Megami Tensei Series 1987. When we look at this demon from the well-known JRPG series, we are left with only one question: why? Mera resembles a giant phallus, sometimes with testicles and the unsettling addition of tentacles, if that isn't obvious to you, and how could it not be? Its greenish skin tone and gaping mouth are both ridiculous, and its veiny texture adds an extra creepy touch. It would be one thing if Mera only appeared in one installment, but she appears, pun intended, in the majority of them. Mera appears to be always waiting for us, ready to gross us out no matter how much we wish it would just go away. 6. Guardian, Dead Space Series, 2008-13. Most enemies in Dead Space will likely nauseate and horrify you, but the Guardians provide a unique brand of disgust. They appear to be the remains of a body that was splattered across a wall and became stuck there, with guts protruding from an open chest cavity. When you get too close, a Guardian will howl in pain and lash out, but the sight of its fully mutated form makes our stomachs turn. As it matures, the Guardian will use its intestines as weapon and spit out embryo-like minions to help it hunt its prey because it is unable to move. Every time we came across one, we let out a groan because the image and sound design combined to create something truly revolting. 5. Rat King, The Last of Us Part 2 2020. And we thought the bloater in the first game was revolting. The Rat King appears only once in the sequel, which was more than enough to make us sick. The Rat King isn't just one infected, it's a group of them. It has the same horrifying fungal-ridden skin as other enemies, but it also has multiple bloody mouths and extra limbs protruding in all directions. One of the extra bodies separates itself halfway through the fight to attack you on two fronts. The Rat King is by far the most terrifying moment in the game, and it's yet another example of superb sound design enhancing a monster's already repulsive appearance. 4. Asphyxia, Silent Hill Homecoming 2008. Asphyxia, another terrifying creature with multiple limbs, is another monster we're thankful only appears once. The third boss fight in the game, the literal human centipede, outperforms everything that comes before and after in terms of stomach-churning design. She crawls out of a fleshy wall orifice after attacking your ally, revealing an unsettling number of segments. The fused bodies are disturbing, but so is Asphyxia's shambling around with all hands and no feet. She'll attack you with her many arms and swing her tail section to trip you up. While the encounter is brief, Asphyxia's design isn't something you'll forget. 3. The Xenomorph, Alien Isolation. There is no more terrifying video game monster than the Xenomorph that patrols Sevastopol Station in Alien Isolation. This movie monster made the transition to video games, allowing Alien Isolation to function as a direct sequel to the first Alien film. This game's Xenomorph is unstoppable, and players must rely on stealth to survive. Alien Isolation refuses to give the player a break. Players can hear the Xenomorph stalking hallways or crawling through the air ducts above their heads at any time. When confronted, players can hide in lockers and beneath tables, but safety is never guaranteed. Only a few weapons are effective in scaring the Xenomorph away, and this is the only temporary solution. It's the ultimate embodiment of the first Alien film's claustrophobic and primal terror. 2. Grand Faloon, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. For many Castlevania fans, just the mention of Grand Faloon is enough to make them terrified. Grand Faloon is one of the most disturbing enemies in the Castlevania series, despite not being the most difficult. It is fought within the inverted castle's bowels, which is where much of the real action takes place. Grand Faloon, in contrast to many other boss fights in SOTN, is unfathomably creepy. To protect itself from harm, this parasitic creature surrounds itself with thousands of dead bodies, which it uses as a shell. As a player hacks away at Grand Faloon's body, these corpses scream and fall to the ground. It's definitely an unsettling battle. 1. Salvatore Moreau, Resident Evil Village, 2021. Resident Evil seems to outdo itself in terms of disgusting monster design with each new installment. Marguerite Baker in RE7 was terrifying, but Salvatore Moreau in Village outdid her. With multiple growths causing him to hunch over, the humanoid form was already pretty disgusting. We almost lose our lunch when he transforms, though. Moreau, as a giant mutated fish beast, prefers to attack Ethan by spewing acidic vomit all over him. The constant sound of regurgitation, whether directed directly at him or sprayed into the air like rain, will certainly sicken you. Moreau is a visual and auditory assault, which is the highest form of praise we can bestow upon him. Nemesis, Resident Evil 3. While there are many strong and terrifying monsters in Resident Evil, Nemesis is by far the most terrifying. The Umbrella Corporation hired this walking bioweapon to defend against threats to its business interests, both big and small. In the third Resident Evil game, Umbrella releases it to eliminate the STARS members present in Raccoon City. It attacks the player without warning, and when they least expect it, and conventional weapons are useless against it. Thanks to Nemesis, Resident Evil 3 became so memorable because of the pervasive feeling of fear. At this point, that is the entirety of the information that we possess. If you enjoyed viewing the show, we would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to it by clicking the button labeled subscribe. Make sure the notification button is activated so that you are kept abreast of all the newest videos that we upload. We would appreciate it if you would use the comment box to share your reactions to the video with us, as we would be interested in hearing them as well. That was everything that we are able to cram into the agenda for today.